Oh, yes. We have a good show for you today. We got a damn good show. Oh, God, do we have a lovely show. Oh, a lovely show. Let's get into this. 1,000 African migrants swarm New York City Hall over apparently promised green cards. Again, these people are not escaping persecution. They are simply escaping economic circumstance.
So y'all were promised.
And considering that the entire continent of Africa is mostly a shithole, yeah, they need the money.
As green cards, the crowd was mostly made up of new arrivals from Guinea in West Africa and were apparently drawn to City Hall by an activist group, a source told the Post. What activist group do y'all think that is? Y'all know, let's just put it out there. George Soros is probably one of the most criminally organized people out there. They organize so many of these segments and these little pieces like this. It's ridiculous. Said, there are many people here and we don't know how to get the help they told us would be here. He told the Post,
I would use this as an opportunity to round all their asses up and send them back to wherever they fucking came from. But that's just mean. Me, and I guess I'm mean or something.
Told him here for
you are not seeking asylum. You are an economic migrant. You
hearing on the experiences of African migrants in shelters to understand how the
because according to these assholes, we're still supposed to use African American, even though most black Americans have as much to do with Africa as I fucking do with goddamn Europe. How about you just black Americans? I mean, if we want to, how about you just Americans? I mean, I don't even like doing the whole black and white thing. We're just both Americans.
So the administrations, they need to do better at providing training in these languages, said Manuel Castro, commissioner of mayor.
No, if you want to live here, you're going to fucking learn English. Okay? If you're with your friends and families, I don't give a fuck what language you speak. But you need to know English because we're not learning your stupid Pan-African fucking bullshit language.
Mayor office.
By the way, I like this big fat black bitch with the Pan-African earrings on. Hey, bitch! Then why are you living here? I guarantee you I can get a collection to put you on a plane and send you back to the motherland, Africa. And then you'll remember why you fucking live here.
On immigrant affairs told the council, noting there are nearly 3,000 languages spoken across.
I understand the United States does not have an official recognized language, nor should it. But the language of the United States is English, so if you want to live here, learn some English. Go fuck yourself.
Languages and these dialects together for these elite.
Well, I'm sorry, but if she wants to wear little Pan-African earrings, then we can send her back. We can send her to Africa if she loves it so much. And then probably 10 minutes in, she's going to want to come back to the United States. None of these pro-African American blacks would last 10 minutes in Africa. And hence is why none of these motherfuckers go. Because they still like Papa John's.
Legal people that want to come over. You tell me they don't know.
We're not on Ojibwe land. My ancestors conquered this land fair and square.
Oh, that when they came to America, that America is not one.
And we made it right with the Ojibwe. We fucking goddamn gave them the casinos. So fuck off and fuck you.
But it may be a melting pot. You talking about 3,000 dialects? You come over there. I promise job. English words I know only. I promise jobs.
Actually, Underhaven, that's one of the great lies of history. For most of the Indian wars in American history, the Indians were armed with the exact same weaponry that the United States was. Do you know why the United States still conquered them? It's because while the Cherokee hated us, they hated the Sioux that much more. And while the Sioux hated us, they hated the Cherokee that much more. And again, I'm giving hyperbolic examples, but that's why. Most of the... One of the first things we traded with the Native Americans was guns. The first thing they do was turn the guns on each other. Might want to read a bit of history, Underhaven.
No. Yeah. Yo, shut up.
All right, I'm done with this. We're moving on. All right. This, if it is true, could flip Cobalt Blue Illinois red. So, again, I don't even know if they're going to be able to cheat Biden into the goddamn presidency. And Trump may actually walk into the White House out of a fucking jail cell. Okay, so if this is true, then Biden's fucked.
And yourself with somebody who's obviously a one-term mayor, if he even makes it that far, you better be worrying about your job. You better be worrying about your longevity. Because we're going to vote, and we're going to get you out.
Woo-wee! Chicago is pissed.
Yeah, no shit. Mayor's giving all the money to the illegal fuckers.
Information. By the way, any type of products you guys see flashing across the screen at the bottom right there are products that I use for my content, from the camera to the microphone to the keyboard to the mouse, yada yada peanut butter, all right? All right, folks. So, y'all have to
Why do I want to steal that? Yada yada peanut butter.
see this.
Chicagoans furious and sounding off on Mayor Johnson's plan to tack on another $70 million to migrant funding.
Another $70 million on already the untold tens of millions of dollars he's already spent. And Johnson will not stop, because Johnson is a progressive, he's a socialist, he thinks everything is just fucking, everybody should just share. Everybody should just share what they have. When in the reality, anyone that is above the age of 4 knows that's complete bullshit.
Administration building to the point that
I mean, if Chicago is this pissed off, and this is true, I don't know if it'll flip red in the Republican or in the presidential election, but you may see local elections go red. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if Donald Trump will win. If he can win Chicago, he wins Illinois. Or even if he wins a chunk of Chicago, he wins Illinois.
Dana, good morning to you. This migrant issue has become an Achilles heel for Mayor Brandon Johnson, so much so that there are now multiple.
No, Underhaven, that's not why you talk about me. I've told you I'm not going to talk about you. The reason you talk about me is because, well, quite frankly, you're obsessed with me and you can't actually beat me. You know, I was kind of thinking about something while I was at work today. You know, the thing you never do. And I was kind of like, you know, it's funny. They think I'm like the Brett Keane of this situation. Pun not intended. And, well, Brett Keane constantly brought up the drunken peasants. I don't know if he still does, but back in the drunken peasants' heyday, he did all the time. Except, I don't bring up Jake that much. Jake brings up me far more than I bring up him. So, who's the actual low-cow? The guy who just doesn't bring shit up? Or the person who brings shit up constantly? Now, that is the last I'm going to say on this matter. So, Underhaven, now you can go to bed. Daddy Dave gave you your fill. That's all you're getting. So you can go fuck off.
Efforts underway to vote out Democrats and the mayor. We saw that yesterday.
They're not wearing MAGA hats. Okay, I will apologize. I thought they were MAGA hats, but no, they're making Chicago great again. Mixed in with some MAGA hats.
$1 billion from the city's
from cool old black man, who's probably cool as shit.
rainy day fund to take care of the migrants.
We need that money in my neighborhood. We need that on my block. So I'm.
Yeah, and he's taking it from the rainy day fund. Now, I tend to think everyone should have their own rainy day fund themselves. But if I am paying taxes into a rainy day collective fund, then yeah, that's meant for me, the taxpayer, the guy who put the money in. Not fucking Jose, who just waltzed over here from Venezuela.
Currently, state.
Which actually I did notice a couple of times on news feeds where, yeah, police are having to fight with these fuckers in these shelters that they're using this emergency money to fund. Send these motherfuckers back from whence they came. Not even the mighty United States can take in the world's problems. Okay? Here's a thought. Your country of Venezuela sucks. Fight to fix it. Don't come running to my awesome country.
Law does not.
And if you want to say that I'm selfish, then fine. Fuck it. Yes, I will admit. I am selfish. I'm actually very selfish.
A new group wants
me, I don't give a shit about migrants. Me, all y'all would be put on a bus back to wherever the fuck you came from. Further, I don't have any sympathy for criminals. I want you brutalized, but that's just me.
To change that by getting a referendum on the ballot this November that would.
Would I go to Norway if America was falling apart? Absolutely not. If America starts falling apart and going down, well, I'll be in the street playing Near My God to Thee.
Would pave the way.
And let's see who's the first one of you dumb fucking trolls to get that reference.
Before, and it's a
No, I would play the violin, and I would play Near My God to Thee. Now, can somebody get the reference? And yep, Titanic. I'm going down with America. Because that's my country. That's the country I was born in. That's the country I'll die for. I have as much to do with Norway as, again, the average black person has to do with whatever African country they happen to have somewhat ancestrated from. What, dying for an ideal? I don't think that's pathetic. Okay, so Jarlick, you just basically admitted you have no ideals, you have no principles, you have no nothing. You'll literally suck dick to stay alive. Some things are worth dying for, boy. Okay, Jarlick, let me ask you a question. Somebody puts a gun to your head. I'm assuming you're a straight male. Do you suck his dick to stay alive, yes or no? My answer would be no. Pull the fucking trigger. Because the pathetic thing is, we all die eventually.
Because
So, Jarlick, you're somebody that would rather live on his knees than die on his feet. You're a coward.
when something is being taken,
If he's in America, if he's British, fine, because they licked the boot when they got rid of, when they enacted things like hate speech laws and gun control, so fine. If he's an American, then yeah, you're a coward. You're a pathetic piece of trash, and I'm never talking to you again.
we're going to lose more away from us. If we don't see the warning signs and respond accordingly, we're bound to get more wake-up calls like Dobbs.
Now, that's odd, because I seem to remember, boy, you cheering when Alex Jones got taken off. You cheering when Steven Crowder got strikes. You cheering when all your political opponents were scrubbed from the internet when you thought the left would win the internet. It didn't, because leftists don't make money. I remember you cheering all that. But now that it's starting to swing back on you. Now that it's starting to swing back on you. You have nothing. This is why I know, Mike, you're just a little bitch. That's all you are. That's why I know you never engage in a debate. You never actually answer for any of your actual beliefs. And try to fit the square peg in the round fucking hole. This is why I know this. Your side was doing that successfully for several years. Getting people canceled because of political disagreements. And you cheered them on, big boy. By the way, my use of the word big boy has nothing to do with the fact that he's gay, more that he's just an exhibitionist asshole. He paraded all that shit around and said it was the greatest thing since fucking Jennifer Aniston's yeast pussy bread. Now the tide's turning, bitch. And you don't fucking like it. Well, I guess I'm going to use the same arguments you used against everyone else. The college is a private institution, and they can have whoever they want giving speeches. Fuck you.
Eliminated the right. Effectively.
Oh, I'm not going to open up the lines tonight. But I have an idea for a show. but none of you are gonna like it.
In 2016, Black Lives Matter activist DeRay McKesson organized a protest in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, following the murder of Alton Sterling by police. Now, at that protest, one of the many people there
Alton Sterling was not murdered by police. Just saying.
Decided to throw a rock at a cop and seriously injured him. Now, nobody knows who threw the rock to this day. Now, the court is allowing DeRay McKesson to be sued since he's the one who organized the protest, even though he didn't throw the rock at that cop, nor did he say.
Yeah, if I had to go back and listen to a recorded audio of that night, he probably was encouraging it, Mike. And yeah, it's important leaders of protest movements remind their people to remain peaceful. The days of you little Antifa twerps doing whatever you want are done. Sorry, Mike, those days are over. You're either going to have to own up, be a man, and tell people what is what, or you're going to have to pay as a man. Now, that's probably going to be the first time in your life you've ever had to do that, considering you were too much of a shit-stricken coward to come out to your own old man yourself. Oh, yeah, you couldn't tell your dad you were gay. You left that to your mommy and you went to the mall. You little fucking bitch. Oh, and I can't wait for you to tell that fucking story again on Pride, and I'm gonna rip you apart for it. Fuck you, and fuck you stupid, dumb, f***ing ass. And by the way, I'd say this if it was Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder's another f***ing ass. Yes, his dad was fine with it, Phoenix. But after his mom told him, he was out of the house and cowering like a little bitch. And by the way, oh, you're going to say, Dave, well, you're straight, so you never had to you're right, I never had to deal with this. But I had to tell my religious mother, my very religious grandmothers, and my semi-religious dad, and semi-religious grandpa, I don't know where the hell that, because he didn't care, that I was an atheist. And I just said, this is this. You hate me, whatever. I don't care. You know, it is what it is. I don't give a fuck. And they all said, well, they disagreed with me. They wish I'd see the light and the divinity of Jesus Christ, but I'm their grandson. They loved me.
We should throw rocks at cops. But here's the thing. The Supreme Court already affirmed that organizers can't be held liable for violence at protests that they organized in the 1980s.
Really? Then why the fuck is Trump in court right now, you dumb, stupid, four-eyed piece of trash?
1982 case of NAACP v. Claiborne Hardware. And they also reaffirmed that in 2023 in the case of Counterman v. Colorado, where they made it clear that you can't charge an organizer with incitement of violence unless their words were specifically intended to incite violence. Even if they accidentally incite violence by using rhetoric that's just a little bit too charged, they have to.
Then basically the entire political witch hunt against Trump is bullshit. You just admitted it. Thank you, you stupid, dumb, four-eyed piece of trash.
Or a non-exhaustive list, and that the MAGA-infused court is allowed to create new exceptions to the First Amendment. It then ruled that
I'm not doing this. Unless he wants to deal with a complete fucking utter double standard on free speech that his side created, then he can go fuck himself for all I care. Okay, now we're gonna... fuck it. Now we're gonna do some shorts. Alright, we have something from Rachel Oates.
Feminism. Life was better in the good old days. I don't want to work, I just want a man to look after me. A woman's true role is to be a wife and a mother.
Yeah, well, when a woman's true role is to be a wife and a mother, women's happiness rates were never fucking higher. Then you feminists come in and, son of a bitch, women's happiness is in the fucking toilet. Rachel, before you get too fucking old, here's a thought from the old lord of patriarchy. Find a man. Find a good man. One that can provide for you. You're hot enough to. Again, assuming you're not a complete fucking whore. And be a wife and be a mom to that man's children. And I guarantee you, you will end up happier than the current path that feminism has sent you down.
Do any of these sentiments sound familiar? Yeah? Sadly, I see this sort of thing online a lot. And I think it's because today a lot of people forget how far we've come and just how much of an impact feminism has had on the world and on the lives of us.
God, no, it hasn't. All it's done is made you more miserable. Again, Western women are more miserable today than they ever have been.
Women. Sure, you might want to go back to the good old days, but did you know back in the 1800s it was totally common and okay for a man to literally sell his wife when he got fed up of her? The last
Okay. I have actually read a lot of literature from that period of British history. One of my favorite stories from British history comes from that time period, A Christmas Carol. I really do truly love history, and in all facets, from war to, well, hell, sex. And I have never once heard that in the history of ever, whoever taught you that fact was, for lack of a better term, lying. Now, could a father sell his daughter, his hot-ass daughter, to an ugly, ugly, rich little lord, and he gets a wife that's way out of his league? Could that happen? Yes. But that also happened in America. You know, land of the free, home of the brave, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, well, arranged marriages were still a thing at the time. This idea of marrying for love or marrying somebody that your parents told or not marrying somebody that your parents told you to is a product of, quite frankly, the 20th century. So yeah, straight to, sweetheart.
Last case of this was actually in 1913. The idea of selling your wives was most common in the 1850s. One journalist at the time wrote a story of a butcher who dragged his wife to Smithfield Market with, and I quote, a halter about her neck and one about her waist which tied her to a railing, and he kept her there until he could sell her to another man for the price of 3 guineas and a crown. So yeah.
I've never once heard of this. Ever. And considering the way your average modern woman acts online as wife material, I don't exactly know what 3 guineas and a crown is worth, but she's probably worth less than that. So, and after the advent of feminism, were women still ladies? No. They acted like whores online like you do. 20 bucks says this cunt has an OnlyFans. So yeah, they didn't exactly get it, but you know what? I don't really want to go on anymore. Screw it. Because I am ending this early. I may be, you know what? I think I'm gonna be on Twitch a little bit later, and we'll keep watching our Picard adventure